This is the ugliest thing I've ever made. Hey guys, welcome back to Daisy Crochet, or welcome if you're new. Today I had free time, so I decided, oh, I should probably film a YouTube video for tomorrow. So today we're going to be trying a Dollar Tree crochet kit. It is a succulent, I guess, pink succulent, and I'm very excited. I bought this kit like a year ago at Dollar Tree, and it was only $1.25, and I was just really curious to see if it was actually good. So today we're gonna be figuring that out. I'm gonna be telling you what's in the kit. We're gonna try and use it to make the pink succulent, and I will give you guys a review throughout and at the end to tell you guys if this kit is worth it, because I think it would be really cool, like if you wanted to start out crocheting, to buy a $1.25 kit. Then you wouldn't have to break the bank to try out a new hobby. So let's see if we can make this using the Dollar Tree kit. All right, so all the stuff that it comes with is on the back. So there is like pink yarn, black yarn, I think, or dark brown, and then like a lighter brown for the pot. And then it also comes with a stitch marker and some stuffing. And there's also a crochet hook, but I can't tell what size it is yet, so we'll have to see when we open it up. And then there's also a needle, like a darning needle, so that's kind of good. And then it says there's also instructions, so let's open it up. Here is what it came with. So these are the instructions, I'm assuming. We will open those up in a minute, but let's open the kit with everything in it. So here's the yarns. They're not very soft, but they're not the worst either. They'll do. It's definitely like acrylic weight 3 or 4. So there's the light brown, the dark brown, and the pink. Kind of rolled up weird, but hopefully I can find the ends and everything. Oh, this hook is really tiny. Okay, it's a metal hook. Like, it's one of the good quality metal hooks, but it is only a 3mm. So this is a very tiny hook. So right off the bat, I wouldn't suggest buying this for your very first time crocheting, because if you've seen my like everything you need to buy to start crocheting video, you would know that I do not recommend doing really small projects like with small hooks to start out. So you're gonna want to do like at least a 5mm probably for your first project. But for this, we're gonna be using a 3. And then we have the darning needle next. It's made of plastic and it's very small, like short, but it will probably work well for this project. So there is that. And then we have a little bit of stuffing. Honestly, I don't know if that's gonna be enough, but it's probably not actually as big as it is on the picture. So we'll see, but there's the stuffing. And then the last thing is the stitch marker. And it's just a regular small purple stitch marker, so kind of cute. All right, so now let's open up the instructions and see what they look like. The paper feels disgusting, but that might just be a me thing. All right, so here is what the instructions look like. There is a front and a back, and they look pretty well written. Maybe I'll just take a picture and include it over top of this, but I'm just gonna like quickly read out what kind of it has. So it shows the materials and then abbreviations for all the different stitches and everything, which is helpful if you are a beginner. And then there is instructions to make your own decoration. How to read the pattern, kind of confusing if you ask me, but just like watch a video on how to read patterns or something if you don't know, but I do know, so it'll be fine. And then it looks like the first step is to use the brown yarn to make the pot, and then the soil, and then after the cactus. Do they call this a flower? They call it a decoration. So I don't exactly know what it is, but it looks like a cactus to me, pink cactus. Let's get started. I'm excited to make this actually. It could be cute. So the first step, like I said, is gonna be the pot. So I'm gonna grab the lighter brown yarn, and then I'll just keep including like photos of the pattern. It honestly looks pretty straightforward. You just have to make a magic ring, and then it's only 11 rows. And honestly, the pattern looks like a pretty standard like pattern format and everything. Like, it's not weird at all. Like, I'm gonna be able to follow it pretty easily. The thing I'm most nervous about is that 3mm hook, honestly. All right, so I'm gonna open up the yarn, and it's just tied in a little knot, I guess. There's also already hair stuck in it. Could be mine, It does seem like this yarn might be prone to being tangled just because it's not in a ball or neat at all. Like it looks like this. So yeah, also I'm very nervous about the amount because if we run out of yarn, I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna lower you guys down a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right, so you can no longer see my face, but it will be fine. I also noticed that there is a knot in the yarn already, so that's great, but hopefully I'll just be able to get that out pretty easily. This yarn I'm noticing already is already separating a lot too, which is not gonna be fun with this hook size because honestly, I feel like this hook is a little bit too small for this yarn, but whatever, I'll save my full review for the end. So it says to start by making a magic ring, so let's do that. Like I don't usually crochet in real time with you guys, so it's be kind of fun, although I probably won't be doing the entire thing in real time because that would take forever. Okay, now we are going to do 6 single crochets into it. I would typically chain 1, but it doesn't say to, so I'm not gonna. Okay, so I did the 6 singles and it never says to like close the magic ring, which is kind of odd, but I'm going to close it because I know that that's what you have to do. There also is not in-depth instructions on how to do any of the stitches or like a magic ring or anything. So if you do not know how to do that, probably don't buy this kit or you're gonna have to do your own research, which would also maybe be fine. Guys, I already lost the needle and my cat's eating the yarn, but it's fine, I have other needles. I'll probably find it somewhere. My bad. Okay, so it doesn't say to slip stitch or anything. It says to chain 1. That's not possible, so let's not do that. So we're gonna chain 1 and then we're gonna go into the next stitch. Might have been a me issue, but it doesn't say on the instructions. And then we're doing an increase in every stitch around. This yarn honestly is not that hard to work with, and like the hook isn't either. They're both fine so far. I don't like working with really small hooks personally, but it's fine. It's not like separating like I was worried it was going to, and it's pretty easy in general. I'm curious to see like how big this actually turns out because it's looking like small. I don't know how many increase rows you do. Oh, 3. So we will see how big it turns out with this tiny hook. I feel like they should just put like a 5mm or a 4mm in this kit, honestly. But I don't know, maybe it's like more expensive to make or something, so it's fine. Okay, the yarn is actually separating a little bit now that I said it wasn't, so just keep that in mind. Okay, now we're moving on to row 3. So we're chaining 1 again. This is kind of a weird way to do it, in my opinion. And then we're gonna do 1 single crochet, 1 increase. Yeah, I don't really know why the chain 1 is there, but also why it wasn't there at the very beginning when we did the magic ring. It's all kind of weird. This is like a very typical start to a pattern though, like working in the round. So it definitely is making good sense. Like it's not like it's gonna be messed up. Like I think it's gonna turn out well, like the circle part at least, so we'll see. And I'm just gonna like speed up some of the crocheting parts just so that you don't have to watch me just sit here and crochet. I really don't like the chain 1 thing because it makes me feel like I'm doing it wrong because like there's 1 stitch at the end of the row that there shouldn't be, so it's kind of weird. I'm just closing the magic ring and adding knots. It doesn't say to do this again, but I'm gonna do that because that's what I like to do typically. All right, here's what it looks like so far. There's a little like snag in it, which I don't appreciate, but it's okay. We're going to now move on to row 4. So that starts with a chain 1 and then going into the first stitch, which is actually not the first stitch because of the chain 1. I really don't like that. And then it's 2 single crochets and an increase. So this is still like a very standard pattern for working in the round, in my opinion. Like this is typically how I would start one if I was making like a circle in the round. So yeah, I am going to continue with this row, and then I'm also going to do row 5, which is 3 single crochets and then an increase. And then once I'm done all the increases, it will leave me with 30 stitches, and then I will come back to you guys and we will move on to the next steps together. And it won't go through. Okay. Okay guys, I actually didn't even finish that row I was just on, but I wanted to show you that the yarn is knotting, which is really frustrating. But like if you don't have the other end tucked in somewhere like in a ball, this will happen. And it is like one of my biggest pet peeves, but I'm just gonna keep untying it, I guess. So I guess something that you could do if you do get this kit is like wind the yarn into balls before you start. Like I feel like that's kind of annoying and they should just be in balls already. Like, yarn typically is, but I don't know. I guess I don't even know if that would avoid the issue, but I think it probably would because this is a mess and it's frustrating me. Let's untangle this. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, this thing is losing points from me rapidly because this is literally one of my least favorite things to do ever, and it's taking forever, and like the yarn is like frying and stuff, which is frustrating. I'm hoping you won't be able to tell once I use it, if I can even get it apart at this point. Honestly, this is a mess. Usually I am able to get yarn apart, so I think it'll be fine, but like I don't want to be spending my time doing this right now. I want to be crocheting. You really shouldn't have to do this unless the yarn's not wound properly, which it wasn't, so that is frustrating. And I would like wind the other balls before I started now that I know that this is gonna happen, but I feel like I should just be true to the kit and see if it happens again, because I want to give it a fair review like as it is without doing extra work, because it doesn't say to wind the balls yourself, it says just use it. So that is what I'm gonna do, but if this happens again, I'm gonna be even more upset. Okay, good news guys, I finally got it undone. So now I am going to continue on with these 2 rows like I said I was going to before, and I will come back at the end. Oh my god, how many times am I gonna keep coming back on after I say I'm not going to? But I'm trying to like get it apart because I messed up a part. I did 2 increases in a row. And it's literally stuck together. Like it won't come apart. There's like a little piece of yarn that's holding it together and it won't come off. Like I'm gonna have to rip it. Got it. This is like so annoying actually. I didn't expect it to be this bad. Like it's literally like you can't even see the loop anymore because it's completely tangled. This is not good. Okay guys, sorry about the shaking. So I finished that. This is what it looks like. It's kind of bulging out a bit, which is odd. I hope I did it right, but I think I did. So now we're moving on to the next row, row 6, which is chain 1, back loop only, 30 single crochets. So this is honestly also what I would do if I was making a pot, like freehanding one or doing my own pattern, because this is how you make like the edge that will go up to actually make the pot rather than just a circle. So I am going to do this now. So far I am enjoying this hook, but I am not enjoying the yarn. It's not like the worst yarn I've ever used, especially considering the price, but it's certainly not the best. It separates, it frays very easily, it gets tangled as you saw. It gets tangled to itself, and also it gets tangled because it's not in a ball properly. So yeah, that is my little thoughts so far, but I'm just going around doing the 30 singles. And then looking ahead to the next row, it looks like we're doing rows, sorry I say rows, I know it's rounds. Rounds 7 to 10, which is only 4 rows of just chain 1, 30 single crochets. So I don't feel like that's gonna make it all that tall, but we'll see. And I will come back to you guys once I am starting that. Okay guys, so I'm starting like the regular rows of just 30 singles around. But honestly, I don't know if I have 30 singles around, because like this chain 1 business is really confusing me. I counted and I had like 29, but like it's funny because every row that I've done has been like proper with like one extra at the end, so maybe that's my problem. Like, and I don't want to like just like mess it up on purpose. Like, I'm not doing it on purpose, but I don't think it's messed up. It's just kind of odd that the bottom is bulging out like that, but again, I think it's fine. But I will keep that in mind that I could have possibly missed a stitch in my review, so I'll be fair to the kid that it could be user error, some of these problems. I was just talking for like a really long time, and then I realized that I ran out of storage on my phone, so it didn't really record any of it. But I was just saying that I'm just gonna do like this 4 rows of single crochets around to build up the sides of the pot, and I'm gonna go do that off camera because it's just gonna take a while. It's the same thing over and over again. So here is what we have so far. And yeah, I will go complete up to row 10, then we'll do the last row, I guess, together. All right guys, we're back. Took a brief lunch intermission. I'm finished up the 4 rows. This is what it looks like. The bottom is still bulging, not great. But yeah, let's do the final row, which is chain 1, front loop only, 30 double crochets. Okay, so I guess we're doing double now, and the front loop only, so this maybe will create like a little lip ledge around the outside. Kind of interesting. Okay, it's not the easiest to only go into the front loop using this yarn though, because it's very separate-y. I feel like this is gonna look weird. Like, I like the idea of it, but I don't think it's gonna look good. Like, I feel like singles around would be just fine. I don't know why it has to be doubles. Like, it's just gonna take me longer and look bad. Let me just show you guys once it's actually done. All right, I finished the row of double around it. It doesn't say to do anything like slip stitch or anything, but honestly, I am gonna do a slip stitch because I feel like it would look really bad without it. And that is all the yarn we have left, so good thing I'm done. I'm gonna tie it off. Oh my god, look at the yarn. And I guess the pot's done. This is what it looks like. It's not very big. I don't know. It didn't take that long, I guess. So now we're going to move on to the soil. So I gotta get the dark brown. And I don't think that this is gonna take that long either, I hope, because the yarn, like, there's not very much yarn, so I don't think it's very big. I'm just like untangling the yarn. And to start this one, you also do a magic ring. So let's do the magic ring and then 6 singles into it. I'm trying to leave like a slightly shorter tail than I did last time because it was cutting it close on the yarn. Okay, honestly, I should probably make it smaller than I just did because you do not have a lot left over at the end. At least I didn't. All right, so I'm gonna do the 6 singles. And then the next step is chain 1 increase. Chain 1, I guess, and then just 6 increases around. So we will have 12 singles. And honestly, looking ahead to the rest of the pattern, it looks like the same as the beginning of the pot, which makes a lot of sense because it has to fit in the pot as the soil. So it just goes up to row 5, which is 3 singles, 1 increase. So it'll be a total of 30 stitches all the way around. So I think I'm just gonna go and complete the soil off camera, and once I've finished it, or if I have any updates throughout like I did last time, I will come back on. But otherwise, I'll see you when the soil's all complete, and then I think we have to sew it on to the pot and stuff it. All right guys, I finished the soil with a lot of extra yarn. Did I do this right? Yeah, I did. Oh, it's because we need to sew it. Okay, so here's what it looks like. It also does bulge a little bit, like it's not fully flat. So I don't know, I feel like I did do the pot like mostly right. Like, I don't think it was my fault that it bulged out at the bottom because this did too, and I'm pretty sure I did this one correctly. Like, my stitches were all right and stuff. So yeah. Also, I just want to say I did add a slip stitch again at the end because I thought it would look better. But the instructions do not say to do that. Just so you know, I went a little bit off course, but we'll survive it. So now it says sow soil to the pot and stuff with fiber fill. There's 2 spaces between and stuff. Just so you know. I guess I will grab the darning needle. It almost, like, the darning needle feels like, it almost looks like it's like made out of paper, but it's made out of plastic. It reminds me of those like bamboo straws we have here instead of plastic straws. So I don't know, I'm assuming it's just plastic, but it's quite flimsy. So that's gonna be really fun to use. It does not give you instructions on how to do this. There is photos, but it doesn't even say what row to do it into because I'm assuming you put it in the back loops of the double crochet row, like the very last row, but it doesn't say. Also, when I just added that on, it just frayed a lot because this is kind of too small for this yarn, but whatever. I guess I'm just gonna sew and see what we get. But again, like if you are a beginner and you need guidance on how to do steps like this, like I don't know if I can fully recommend this because it does not provide you with really like instructions. It just provides you with images. So if you don't know how to sew stuff or anything, it will be very difficult. So we're just going around and sewing. I appreciate how the pattern included the front loop double crochet row. I still would have preferred it be singles, but I think it does make it a lot easier to sew, which is nice. And I'm just sewing it like this, not really properly, honestly, because I should be going in and out, but I don't really care, to be honest, because I have a feeling this isn't gonna look good no matter how I do it. So yeah, it also doesn't say, so I'm allowed to do it however I want. Once I get like almost all the way around, I'm gonna add the stuffing. I don't know if you're supposed to use all the stuffing, so I'm gonna have to look ahead and see if you have to stuff the like leaves, that's what they call them, because if you do, I'm gonna have to leave some for that. But I don't know, I don't think you do stuff the leaves. They just kind of look like they're stuffed on the image, but I don't think they are. Yeah, I'll look ahead and make sure that I don't have to save any, but I think I'll just put the entire glob of stuffing in, if not. Yeah, so it doesn't look like you have to add any stuffing to the leaves. Ew, you have to make all the leaves individually. Whatever. I'm gonna open up the stuffing. They call this fiber fill. I call it stuffing. It feels like polyfill density, but the other one, like the Michaels, the one I find at Michaels, it feels that softness. It's not as soft as polyfill, but it feels the same like density. Definitely expanded a lot when I opened it, so I'm just gonna shove it all in, I guess. Very stuffed. On second thought, I'm not gonna be able to stuff this until like the end, at least not fully, but I don't really know why I crammed the whole thing in because that's never how you stuff a project. So I'm just gonna add half, and then hopefully I'll be able to finish it with the half in it and then stuff it fully at the end. But honestly, I kind of feel like it's too much stuffing, which I feel like at the beginning I said it didn't look like enough, but the project is a lot smaller than it is on the image, so that makes sense. Okay, I'm just gonna finish sewing this up. That stuffing shed a lot. I don't know if you can see all the little fibers of it, but I'm gonna go finish this and then I'll come back. All right guys, I went all the way around with the sewing and I finished stuffing it. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't say to like tie off or anything. Maybe that's self-explanatory. I don't know. But I'm just going to secure this with a few knots and then weave it in, and also weave in this light brown end because it doesn't really say to do that, but it's still sticking out, so I'm gonna do that now. Also, it does still have like a lot left of the dark brown, so a little bit inconsistent in my opinion with like how much yarn they're giving you, because I could have used slightly more light brown but less dark brown. And I know that everybody's tension is different, but I don't know, I still feel like it was kind of significant, like the amount extra that I had of dark and the small amount that I had of the light. So just keep that in mind. And obviously this kit doesn't come with scissors, which like I don't really blame them for, but I am gonna have to go grab some scissors to cut off the extra. Or maybe I'll just completely sew it in because I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to get up. So let me just come back to you guys when we start on the leaves. All right, now have the heap of pink, and I guess we're gonna start on the leaves. You have to make how many leaves? It doesn't say how many you have to make. Based off the picture, I think you have to make 4 large, 3 medium, and 3 small. This is gonna take me forever. I hate making like little individual things, but I guess we will get started. And it says to do magic ring, but I'm not gonna do any more magic rings because I don't like doing them. So I'm gonna do a chain 2 instead. I know I'm not following the instructions, but I literally have to make like 10 of these, so I'm not gonna do it their way every time. Okay, already this pink is separating a lot more than the other colors did. I don't know why. Maybe it is made out of something different. It feels the same, but it is definitely separating more than the other 2, which is weird and annoying. So we're doing 4 singles into the magic ring, or in my case, the chain 2, which honestly may have been an awful idea because I am having a very hard time with it, with this very teeny tiny yarn and hook. All right, and then next we're doing chain 1 for increase. So that will leave us with 8. I guess I should have put the stitch marker in. Look at my posture, guys. That's really bad. Don't sit like this. This sucks. I'm already really mad and I don't want to do this. I'm sorry to be negative, but like, I don't like this. And like, for such a small product, why am I working this hard? I don't understand. Okay, and then the next step is chain 1, so stupid. And then single increase. And then the next row, chain 1, 2 single increase. Then you do 3 rows of just 16 around. Then you do 2 rows of decreases. I'm gonna go do that off camera because I can't right now. And then I have to make 4 of these total. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this all today because then I have to do 3 mediums and 3 smalls too. Doesn't sound like fun to me. Finished the first large leaf. It's really small. Time to make 3 more. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish this today, so if at any point it just jumps to be tomorrow, that's why, but I'm gonna try and get some progress on this. It's not fun, in my opinion, and I like crochet to be fun, because usually it is fun. But it's not right now. It's a little later now, and I still actually haven't started any more leaves because I spent all the time rolling this up. I couldn't stand it anymore. It was really tangled in a mess. Hey guys, so it's now the next day, and as you can see, I've been working hard at these petals or leaves, whatever, and I actually got them all done, except you may have noticed that the last one that I just made is quite a bit smaller than the other ones, and that's because I ran out of yarn. I ran out of yarn on like the 3rd row out of 5 on the last small leaf. So I am concerned about sewing on because I wanted extra yarn to do that, and also obviously I didn't have enough for the last petal, so I can't do anything about it. But yeah, it was a lot quicker today once I had like rolled the yarn into a ball, and also I lost the stitch marker down like the side of my bed, and I do have other stitch markers, but I wanted to try without the stitch markers since they're fairly small things, like I could just keep track in my head, and it did work out good. I was able to just like do it from my head, and it actually went quicker without the stitch marker, so I was able to get them all done. Now I'm gonna grab the pot and the leaf I made yesterday and sew it up. Okay, so I'll put the instructions on the screen, but it says sew all the leaves together and then sew the leaves onto the middle of the pot. Using what yarn? I don't know. Maybe I should have not sewed in the dark brown. Actually, that was probably it. That's why they gave you extra dark brown. crap. Well, we'll figure it out. Okay, it literally doesn't say how to sew these together, so I'm just gonna get the darning needle and do it my own way. Well, I guess there's like pictures looking at it, but it's not clear. Like it says to skewer 2 leaves, and then what? Like I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna weave the yarn through 1. Okay, and I think that's all it's gonna like attach. So I'm just gonna tie a knot with this yarn, and then I'm gonna do the same to the other 2. So there's 4 large leaves, and then the other like 2 sets have 3 each. So it makes a total of 10, but obviously the last one that I made was like hardly even counts because, oh my god, look at this yarn, because it's so small. I'm gonna try using the hook to get this through because it's really frayed and too separated to get it with the needle. It's literally like a tuft of fluff. It's awful. That didn't even work. Good enough, whatever. And yeah, now I'm just gonna do it with the other 2. I'm really upset that I didn't leave that brown yarn out because I think that's what they used to sew it on. But I'm sure it'll be fine. If I need to, I can just glue it or something. Or pretend like I attached it, because honestly, I'm never gonna actually use this, much less sell it or anything like that. Alright, I'm gonna continue to do this, and once I have all like the large leaves sewn together, I'll let you know and I'll show you what it looks like. This is the ugliest thing I've ever made. Onto the medium leaves. Here's the medium ones. Alright guys, I literally couldn't sew them together because I didn't have enough yarn. Ready for the reveal? Don't mind them. 3, 2, 1. Isn't it beautiful? It's awful. This is definitely the worst thing I've ever made. And I started crocheting when I was 11. So I rate this kit a 3 out of 10. It came with all the materials I needed, minus enough yarn. It had instructions. They weren't thorough, but they were all right. However, if you're a beginner and you don't know how to do things like sewing or like certain stitches or like magic rings or anything like that, you're not gonna be able to do it. No offense, because the instructions don't have detailed word instructions. They have good pictures, but I still got confused. Like with the sewing it up, I do not know what the pictures are trying to do. I'm sorry that this is shaking. The cats are attacking the tripod, so. And now Jude's going after my stuffing. It's time to wrap this video up because this was not the most fun, but I'm still really glad that I tried this kit. Will this go on my table? No. I think it'll be going in the trash, but maybe I'll just keep it as a funny little thing. So yeah, I don't recommend buying the kits from Dollar Tree. They are only $1.25, but I would pay no more for this poor quality. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe to see more videos like this one. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. This is what happens when you try and set it down, if you're wondering. Don't mind the water.